Hi guys, photographer Ronix from Ronix Photography, and today we're going to be editing this image together, and I want to show you guys how I do edit my outdoor images. And we are going to do corrections about this image, first of all with the colors of this image, and we are going to eliminate these background distractions. Yeah, we're going to try to remove these towels that were in the background and this pole, and we're going to color grade this image and a brief information about this image. Yeah, we're kind of bored somewhere, and yeah, I had to pause. This is me right here, if at all you don't know me. And I had pause with my two friends right here. Yeah, so a photographer became a model for the day. So a brief information about this image. This image was taken using a camera, Canon 6D camera, and it is a raw image as you can see. And the settings, it was taken at f1.8 using an 85mm, and it was taken using high sync at 1 out of 400 of a second at ISO 100. And for the lighting we used a Godox AD600, and yeah, it was around 5 p.m. and the sun was right behind us, so we used it as a highlighter right here. You can see on the edges of the image. So enough of the talking, let's edit this image together. And today is not about the usual beauty shots and the head shots, so let's try something different. And as usual, for my raw images I just come to my camera calibration, and you have to know the way you shoot your images, the camera profile. So this image was shot in landscape, so I have to click on landscape, and when you click on landscape, this is how the image was being seen on the camera. So I get back my colors, so this is how it was initially on the camera screen. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to make some little adjustments using these sliders. I'm going to pull down my highlights because I want to regain this detail in the sky. And I'm going to come to my whites tool. I'm going to pump them down to around -39, and I'm going to pull my blacks in a little bit to around 19, -19, sorry. And I'm going to come to my shadows, and I'm going to pull the slider up to around 33. Then I'm going to come to my exposure, and I'm going to increase it a little bit. I think this is fine right here. So I'm going to add a little bit of contrast to this image. I think we are done with that. You can see the before, after, before, after. The image is really popping and looks awesome. So we're going to add in a little bit of vibrance and clarity to this portrait, since it is an outdoor image. 6 will do, and yeah, 7, around 8 will do. So I'm going to sharpen this image a little bit. First of all, before sharpening, I'm going to mask it to select the right edges of where I want to sharpen. And for the masking, hold down your Alt button, yeah, and slide this until you get the edges of where you want to sharpen. So come to the sharpening, you can still hold down the Alt to see where sharpening is going to take place. I'm going to leave this at around 89, and for these settings I'll leave them right here. So we can always come back to our camera roll to do the color grading, but what I am going to do, let's first of all try color grading it from camera roll before we can go into the Photoshop itself to retouch and do some little adjustments to this image. And as usual, I'm going to come to my HSL panel, hue, saturation and luminance. That's what it means. I'm going to play around with my blue slider right here. You can see this blue color. So I'm going to come to my saturation. I'm going to pull it up a little bit for my blues and for my aquas too. Then I'm going to come to my luminance, and I'm going to darken this blue color a little bit more. So when you pull it down, you see you're only affecting the blue color in the image. And I'm going to come to my aquas tool and I'm going to pull them down. So I'm going to come to my hue and I'm going to play around with the blues again. You can see, and I'm also going to play around with my aquas tool for this image. I think this looks fine because I'm going in for that orange until look. You can see the before after. You can see this area right here. I have really affected it. So I'm going to come back to my camera calibration and I'm going to enhance these colors a little bit more. So you can see, since I'm going in for that orange until look, I'm going to pull my blue primaries to around -12 and I'm going to come to my green primary so you can see what your green primary really does. So I'm going to pull this to around -6. Then I'm going to come to my red primaries. So you can see when I pull it all the way to the hues, it will add magenta, and when I pull it extreme, it will add yellows to the image. So I'm going to leave it at around negative. Let's go in for +2 for this image. I think we are done with this part of the color grading right now. So we are now going to open our image in Photoshop. So click open image to open it. So if at all you're watching and you haven't subscribed, kindly hit the subscribe button. So before we can start retouching this image, and yeah, I'm going to give you guys my free frequency separation action, and you can check the link in the description if at all you would like to download it, the action. So I just did this to show you guys how I can color grade the image. So let me go in and first of all do the frequency separation before I can eliminate these distractions in the background. So I'm going to come right to my actions and I'm going to click on my frequency separation action. And before I can do that, let me first of all duplicate the background layer. Ctrl J on the keyboard to duplicate. So I'm going to play my frequency separation action. And for my radius for this image, make sure your radius is not too high because this is not a close-up image. So I'm going to go in for a radius of around 8. So I'm going to click continue. And as usual, when I'm doing my frequency separation, I prefer to click on my high frequency layer and I create a black and white layer on top of my high frequency layer right here. So I'm going to darken this a little bit. I think this is fine. You know, I'm the darkest, so I'm trying to favor myself right here. So after doing that, come to your mixer brush tool, and for the settings, those who would like to know how I use the mixer brush tool, I make sure it is a clean brush. Yeah, drop down and clean it. Make sure this right here is checked. Wetness is at 10, the load is at 75, the mix at 90%, and the flow is at 100. Make sure sample all layers is not checked. So select your low frequency layer right there, and right now I'm going to zoom in a little bit because I want to be precise. So I'm going to blend these uneven skin tones together. Yeah, I'm not going to do so much about retouching this image. I want it to look as natural as possible. So this, I'm just doing a little bit of blending so we can see our progress so far. Turn off the black and white. You can see before after right here. You can see how it has affected that area we have worked on so far. So let me work on the hand too. So I'll come to yeah, myself right here, the mode of the day, and I'm going to do a little bit of blending of these skin tones. And I'm sorry if at all you can hear the click. I'm using my laptop, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the face area, and I'm going to blend. Remember, when you're using your mixer brush tool, make sure you mix the highlights alone, the midtones alone, and the shadows alone, and make sure you don't drag from the highlights to the shadows, because you may end up distorting the shape of the face or the model you're trying to retouch. So that's the reason as to why we have to be careful when using a mixer brush tool. Make sure you take your time. So I'm going to come to the third model. Yeah, she's called Dora. So we are going to blend her skin. Yeah, the skin was really nice for all of us. So the model of the day, the models of the day, and yeah, this image was also taken by another friend of mine. Is called Arthur Mark. So if at all Arthur you're watching, make sure you don't sue me for using this image. So yeah, so this is, I think we are done with that. We can turn off this and see our progress before after. You can see we have blended this, and if at all we missed out on some areas, we can always come back and blend them too. I think we are done with that. So I'm going to come to my this black and white layer, and I'm going to delete it because right now it is kind of useless. So I'm going to create a stamp visible layer on top of our frequency separation layer to merge everything by clicking Shift Alt Control E on the keyboard. And I'm going to duplicate this layer to Control J to duplicate it. So right now what we're going to do, we are going to try doing some elimination of these towels in the background. And yeah, you can use, we are going to be using our pen tool, and we are going to be making selections, and we are going to use our clone stamp tool to kind of eliminate them. And yeah, this is like my first time using this pen tool, so if at all I'm not accurate with it, yeah, don't shoot me, don't blame me. So we are going to make a selection. Just click and make points. Make sure it is really it is a wide selection. Yeah, so we are now making a selection. So make sure you take your time. So we are now making these are called anchor points. Yeah, we are making points around the model. So we want to make this selection, and now we don't want, when we are deleting the selection, it doesn't affect the other areas of the image. It affects only this specific area. So right click when you're done and make a selection. Make sure your feathering is at around 3. So click OK. So you're going to come to the other area of these towels, and yeah, just come and you can zoom in to make a finer selection. So yeah, click. Like I said, I'm not really perfect using this pen tool because I rarely use it. So we are now making a selection of the areas we want to get rid of. So I think come right here, make a selection. So this time we are going to add a selection to what we already did. Yeah, because when you add the selection, it will be adding a selection to this initial one we had created first. So we are now going to select around this pole area because we want to eliminate it. Yeah, just be careful while doing this. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so that I want to really be precise, because I don't want it to be noticed that we had to delete something from this image. So I really want it to be nice, and maybe I should say nice and polite, I don't know. I think I'm going to just leave it around here. So what we are doing right now, we are now, this tutorial is more of, yeah, color grading and removing distractions from your images. So if at all you may be wondering what this tutorial is about, I think I have clearly stated it. So we are trying to clean our outdoor images, and we are using our pen tool, and after making these selections, we are going to be using our clone stamp tool to get rid of these distractions from our image. So I think we are done with that. We are going to come and don't mind about this, just come and, yeah, sorry, come and, yeah, make the selection, and we are going to add another selection. So this is more of our third selection. So what we are going to do, we are going to be eliminating, removing this, and we are going to be using the clone stamp tool. So 1, 2, 3. So come right to your clone stamp tool right here and increase it a little bit. So we are going to sample from this area right here. Click Alt to sample, and just come and paint over the area of the selection you made right here. So as you can see, even if I go down, it is not affecting the lower area, because we made the selection where we want to apply the effect. So you can really take your time if at all you want to get more accurate, yeah, results from this cleanup. But yeah, right now I'm doing a tutorial, so you can just come and select a further area to come and delete these towels. You can see it is really doing a pretty decent job. Yeah, it is doing a decent job. I think that is fine. So we'll have to fine tune this area, but I'll be back to this area. You can see a before after. So we are done cleaning that area, and now we are going to come to this other side of the towels. So we are going to sample from this area right above here, and we are going to come and paint over this side too to eliminate the towels. I think this side was even faster, so you can see a before after. Then now we want to eliminate these this pole, so you can increase or decrease on the clone stamp size by using the brackets on the keyboard. Come Alt again, sample, or you can sample from as far as this, but I want to sample from a closer area, and just come and paint over. You can see when your brush is getting low, make sure you go back and sample from above, and Yeah, start painting. So I'll come back up and keep on doing this. You can see it is filling in the area. Uh you can see this anchor. Where the anchor is where we are sampling from. So make sure when the anchor is getting closer to the area you're painting, make sure you come back and make a new selection and paint afresh. So you can see before, after, before, after. You can come back. Now we want to refine this area right here and make it cleaner. So you can even sample from this area itself. Yeah, you, like I said, you can really take your time while doing this. So I'll come and I'm going to deselect. So if at all you really want to fine tune this area, let me show you some other trick. Just come right here, get your mixer brush tool and increase on its wetness. So we are going to paint and maybe flatten and blend in this area right here we have been working on. So what I'm doing, I'm just blending in this specific area using the mixer brush tool. So the mixer brush tool is really an important tool, and if at all you haven't been using it for your retouching process, make sure you learn how it works. And yeah, I think I should do a tutorial about the in-depth of the mixer brush tool. And if at all you feel the area you're trying to mix together is not really being affected, just increase on the wetness. And yeah, so I think you can see before, after. We have gotten rid of these towels. Yeah, just continue blending that area. And if at all you have so many other distractions, you can just come and yeah, you can make a selection and continue cleaning the areas you want to clean up the most. So you can see this is the image before, after, before, after. So what I would like to do, I do some little bit of more color grading. So I'm going to come right to my selective color and I'm going to add cyans to my reds, and I'm going to add yellows because I want to add those really warm tones to the image. So I'm going to come right down here and I'm going to select gradient map. So click on this color icon and to bring these presets. And if at all you don't have all this, click on the gear like icon and click photographic toning and click append. You'll get all this. So I'm going to click on this color because it's close to the skin tone. Sorry. Come to your blending option, and for this image I'm going to use multiply so you can see how the image is dark and it has been darkened. So I'm going to come and reduce on the opacity of this effect. So I think the image looks nice, and what is remaining is I would like to do some little bit of eye whitening for these models. So I'm going to go back to my camera raw filter, Shift Alt Control E on the keyboard to create a stamp visible layer. So Control J on the keyboard, come to filter, camera raw filter, and I'm going to do eye whitening using our this is called the adjustment brush tool in Photoshop. So I'm going to zoom in and the eye area. I'm going to whiten it a little bit, and for the settings, -35, the temperature, tint as +70, the whites at 4 and the highlights at 5, and make sure saturation is all the way down to around 73, and paint over only the white area of the eye. just paint over only and only the white area of the eye. So get your zoom tool and yeah, just come and paint over only the white area of the eye, so you can see that the eyes are really white now. And we are going to whiten her eyes too. Yeah, you can whiten them according to your liking. If at all you feel this is too much, you can just come back to your temperature and work on it. So I think we are done with that. So let me come back to my basic adjustments, and I'm going to pump up my shadows a little bit more and my highlights too. Then I would like to darken these blues a little bit more. Come to your HSL panel and come to your luminance, and I'm going to turn the blue color down and plus the aqua a little bit more. You can see this looks nice and more dramatic. So I'm going to come back to my exposure right here, and I'm going to pull it up a little bit more. So I think we are done with this. Yeah, the image was initially a dark one, so I'm going to group all we have done for this image. And if at all you're loving this retouching process, make sure you like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe if at all you're watching uh, from from this channel the very first time. Click shift, select the lowermost layer, Ctrl G to group them, so you can see this as the before, after, before, after, before, after. You can see what we have done. We did skin retouching, color grading, frequency separation, and we did the eye whitening. And we had to remove these distractions from the image. And like I said, you have to be accurate and take your time while removing these background distractions from your image. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'm Ronix Photography, and yeah, my name is Ronix. Thank you for watching. Till next time, and I'll see you in yet another Photoshop tutorial.